Let me make this very clear if I haven't already. You are not my family. You are not my friend, so I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona. Hello friends and welcome back. So this week, HBO Max released the first look at the new show And Just Like That, which is a reboot of the iconic TV series Sex and the City. Sex and the City is one of those shows where I never considered myself to be like a huge Sex and the City fan, but whenever I'm actually in a conversation about Sex and the City, I realize that I have like a really detailed and intimate knowledge of pretty much everything that's happened over the entire run of the series. When the movies came out, I went to see the first one with my friend Brendan, and we both hated the movie. We thought it was like absolute garbage. But then after the fact, when we had all these things that we wanted to complain about the movie, when we were talking to people, and every time we brought it up, people would just be like, wait, I'm sorry, did you two go together to the movie without like wives or girlfriends? And usually at that point we just got made fun of. So Sex and the City is kind of known best, right, for its four core main people. You know, you have Carrie, Charlotte, Miranda, and then of course Samantha, who was a lot of people's favorite, and for good reason. I mean, she's fun, you know, she had the most sex. And, you know, as a young man, you know, in my formative years watching that show in like the late 90s, early 2000s, of course she was my favorite. But anyway, it is very notable that Kim Cattrall and Samantha will not be appearing in this new Sex and the City reboot that's coming out. And the reason behind it is kind of complicated and kind of long-ranging, and I'm going to get into that today. Before I go on, I do want to note that it seems like you haven't hit like and subscribe yet.
And I wondered, if someone doesn't hit like and subscribe but they watch your video, did they really watch your video at all? ...
Sorry for that. Let's dive in. So, it seems like a big reason for the feud, as much as there is a feud, stems from money. Back in May of 2008, there's a rumor that Parker and Cattrall had tensions over money. Parker had been given an executive producer credit from season 2 onward and was making a lot more on a per episode basis. This led to Cattrall saying that she wanted more money and I guess was sort of really playing hardball with the higher powers. And apparently this just created tension with the other people in the cast and crew. That same report talked about the fact that in 2004 at the Emmys, Parker, Nixon, and Davis were all sitting together while Cattrall sat by herself. In response, Cattrall said, "Are we the best of friends? No, we're professional actresses. We have our own separate lives." In the same report, Parker said, "They were friends. Honestly, we are all friends and I wish I saw more of Kim. She mentioned money and no one should vilify her for it. People made a decision that we had vilified her." June 2008, Marie Claire asked Cattrall about a rumor that she was holding out on making the movie due to demands for more money. Cattrall said, "4 years ago, I was going through a painful public divorce. The series was coming to an end and my father was diagnosed with dementia. I felt it was time to be with my real family. A year and a half ago, when I was sent the script, I was ready and strong enough to revisit Samantha. In some ways, I'm glad we waited. The script and the experience of making the movie was the best possible reunion." So she didn't address the money thing. She just said it was other stuff happening in her life. In 2009, during the shooting of Sex and the City 2, it is reported that Parker and Cattrall were no longer speaking. November 2009, Parker is asked about the rumors that she and Cattrall don't get along. She says, "I don't think anyone wants to believe that I love Kim. I adore her. I wouldn't have done the movie without her. Didn't and wouldn't." January 2010, Cattrall is asked about Parker's comments and says, "I think Sarah was right. People don't want to believe that we get on. They have too much invested in the idea of two strong, successful women fighting with each other. It makes for juicy gossip and copy. The truth of us being friends and getting along and happily doing our jobs together is nowhere near as newsworthy. I think Sarah's fantastic. She's a born leader and she guides the crew and the cast in such a strong but gentle way. She and I are sick of this. It's exhausting talking about it. A real bore." She added, "Oh, honey." No, she didn't. There are a few more interviews kind of in the years after that where basically they kind of bounce things back and forth, with both of them kind of underplaying the feud, saying like, "Oh, you know, we don't understand. We keep seeing these things in the gossip columns." It's generally understood that they're not like the best of friends, but that, you know, at the same time, they're both kind of selling this idea that they still do have love for each other. So after this point, you know, it's been like 7 or 8 years and we really haven't heard too much negative, you know, about the relationship between these two. It's been a lot of them kind of denying these rumors. But September 2017, the Daily Mail reports that the third Sex and the City movie was canceled due to demands from Cattrall. The movie had apparently been given the green light and was ready to get started filming. However, the studio had to back out because Cattrall demanded that they produce other movies that she had in development in order for her to sign on for this one. They basically told her, no, we're not doing that, and that was it. In response to this report, Cattrall tweeted that the only demand that she made was to not do the movie. That's kind of funny. September 2017, Sarah Jessica Parker confirms that there's not going to be another Sex and the City movie. She says, it's over. We're not doing it. I'm disappointed. We had this beautiful, funny, heartbreaking, joyful, very relatable script and story. It's not just disappointing that we don't get to tell the story and have the experience, but I think more so for the audience that has been so vocal about wanting another movie. This is around the time that things really kind of start heating up. So Cattrall is doing an interview with Piers Morgan. I've done a video about that guy, which you can check out if that's your cup of tea. And she tells him that she was never really friends with her Sex and the City co-stars. She's asked if there's ever going to be more Sex and the City. She says, not for me. That was part of turning 60. That was a very clear moment of how many years do I have left and what do I want to do with it? What haven't I done? I feel that the show was best when it was the series and the bonus was the 2 movies. Okay, so she's just saying she's done. October 2017, Cattrall is asked if she and her co-stars are friends, and she says that they had never been friends. She also talks about the rumors that it was her sort of diva-like antics and demands for too much money that led to her not doing the third Sex and the City movie, to which she replied, this is where I really take to task the people from Sex and the City, and specifically Sarah Jessica Parker. I think she could have been nicer. I really think she could have been nicer. I don't know what her issue is. October 2017, the New York Post has an article about the rumored drama on the Sex and the City set, claiming that Nixon, Davis, and Parker had sort of like a very close-knit trio and that they left out Cattrall. It was reported that during a shoot they were doing in Atlantic City that Sarah Jessica Parker rented a house for all the girls, except for Kim Cattrall, though some people claim that Kim wasn't going to stay with them because her husband was coming. Unclear.
Yama kipiebo, sedere facebo, indog Latin equos, UJ, suffer,
What is clear, though, is that apparently by the end of the time they were shooting, Cattrall and the cast members just like weren't speaking to each other at all. January 2018, Sarah Jessica Parker is on Ellen, and it's the first time that she admits the possibility of making more Sex and the City without Cattrall. She says, I think there is a period of grief, a mourning process, and then perhaps we'll consider, for instance, you playing Samantha. Yeah, you know, because Ellen is has a much more agreeable personality than Cattrall. That's a joke because she's terrible. Sarah Jessica Parker is on Watch What Happens Live. They ask her how she responded to the Piers Morgan interview with Cattrall. Sarah Jessica Parker said she was heartbroken. She found it really upsetting because that's not the way I recall our experience. February 2018. Here's when stuff gets pretty dark. So Cattrall's 55-year-old brother is found dead, and she posts about it on Instagram. Sarah Jessica Parker comments on the Instagram post, Dearest Kim, my loving condolences to you and yours, and Godspeed to your beloved brother XX. Apparently, she also reached out to her directly. That I bring that up because Cattrall's response is not necessarily what you would expect. Kim responds to this by making a new Instagram post where the picture says, I don't need your love or support at this tragic time at Sarah Jessica Parker. The rest of the comment under the picture reads, my mom asked me today, when will that Sarah Jessica Parker, that hypocrite, leave you alone? Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear if I haven't already. You are not my family. You are not my friend, so I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona. And then she wrote copy and paste link and then put a link there. That's some real boomer energy. A friend of Cattrall said, their co-stars can't understand why Kim lashed out. It wasn't this bad during filming. There's no love there, but Sarah Jessica Parker was just being polite. It's sad. That was Cattrall's friend who said that. February 2018, Sarah Jessica Parker is asked about this again. She says, we had this experience and it was amazing and nothing will ever be like it. We had a connection with an audience and we had a connection with the city and with this crew and we got to tell these crazy stories with each other. So I don't want to mess with that. I couldn't imagine anyone else playing that part. So there was no fight. It was completely fabricated because I never actually responded, and I won't because she needed to say what she needed to say, and that is her privilege. It's kind of an interesting thing, and the reason why feud is maybe not the right word, because feud normally implies like kind of like a back and forth, but in this case it seems like most of it is Sarah Jessica Parker, at least publicly, trying to be very gracious, and Kim Cattrall just like completely shutting it down. Jason Lewis, the guy who played Smith Jerrod, who many of you will probably remember as the hot actor dude that Samantha got with towards the end of the show, said about the feud, "Listen, I have to say that Sarah was always just so lovely and such a consummate professional, and I think that people should remember their graciousness and the things that have been given to them. And I'm going to stop there because I've got nothing good to say." When he was pressed about whether he was on Team Sarah or Team Kim, he said, "I might have to say, yeah, that I'm on Team Sarah. What a gracious lady. She was always so good to me." Oh boy. August 2019, in an interview with The Guardian, Cattrall says that she went past the finish line playing Samantha Jones because I loved Sex and the City. It was a blessing in so many ways, but after the second movie, I had had enough. I couldn't understand why they wouldn't just replace me with another actress instead of wasting time bullying. No means no. Maybe I shouldn't be so glib about this. You know, I mean, it's not like the movies were good, you know, and I think it's totally understandable that, you know, she, advocate for herself and everything like that, but I bullying feels like a bit much. I don't know. In the same interview, she also uttered her iconic Cattrall saying, which was, "I don't want to be in a situation for even an hour where I'm not enjoying myself." Hear, hear. January 2021, it is announced that the And Just Like That series is going to be coming out and that Kim Cattrall will not be involved. People commented that they were going to miss Samantha on the Instagram post. Parker replied, "We will too. We loved her so." July 2021, the first photos of the reboot And Just Like That are revealed, with Samantha notably missing from the crew. And that's basically where we're at. At the end of the day, this is probably something that just didn't need to be rebooted at all. Anyway, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we should just sort of let die. I'm someone where, like, even the Friends reunion, like, just kind of looking at them being kind of like old and kind of awkward around each other, it's just like, I don't know, it feels like when you have a show or a movie or whatever that's kind of like about a very specific time in those characters' lives, to come back to it, 20 years after the fact, I mean, it just feels, it's just always kind of like a little weird. Also, everyone always kind of looks like a little like bloated, and the plastic surgery is not great, but I don't want to knock on anybody's looks. That's not what I do. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was infotaining. What do you think about this whole feud? Do you come down strongly on one side or the other? I really don't. But leave a comment. Let me know. Thanks so much, guys. Talk soon.
Well, he bit all the he-dogs and winked at all the she-dogs. The town never knew such a hullabaloo as that little dog raised till the end of that